This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you're enjoying your Sunday of football. But tonight, the New York Knicks play the Chicago Bulls, and we're going to talk about that game. So welcome to the Game Day pregame show for your most up-to-date sports content and betting odds. Make sure you check out the Game Day. The link is in the description of the video to their YouTube page and to their website. Hopefully, if you bet on any of these games today, you checked out the Game Day before you went and placed your bets so you can get all the updated content. Make sure you win yourself some money, ladies and gentlemen. I got Andy in the building, and we got Josh in the building. We're about to break down tonight's game versus the Chicago Bulls. They play at 8 p.m. The Knicks are on the second night of a back-to-back. They just played in New York. They're in Chicago probably right now. So let's go ahead and talk about this game and break it down, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get into it. Josh, what's poppin' with you, brother? How you feeling?
Salute, Sam. We're back. Andy, what's going on? NBK fan, the chat, what's going on, everybody? Let's see if the Knicks can keep it rolling. Yesterday, like you said, Sam, the Knicks seem to be moving the ball a little bit more. Let's see if they can keep that up and keep, get some sort of, offensive flow. Yeah, a continuation of what happened last night, tonight against the Bulls. The Bulls are a weird team. I know we're going to talk about it. They don't have Vucevic. Patrick Williams obviously out for the season. Mm-hmm. And Lonzo Ball and DeMar DeRozan's been balling. You know what I'm saying? So we got to try to figure out how to stop those guys. But, let's see how the Knicks perform tonight. It's on the road, off the back-to-back. We're a better road team than we are home team. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, there's definitely some funny matchups tonight, I think. And the Knicks are going to have to deal with that. Andy, what's up?
Yeah, what up, Sam? What up, Josh? What up, to the fans? Listen, like you guys said, this is a funny matchup. We got them, the first game we played this season, so I'm happy about that. I just hope Thibs has, alternative, tactics prepared so he can pull them out, when the game is on, not after the game for the third game. So. I hope he adjusts properly if there's a need to that.
We might see a good dose of small ball tonight because Chicago may be playing small. All right, let's take a look at the injury report for tonight. All right, for the Chicago Bulls. I mean, most of the people that are out for the Bulls don't mean too much. But Nikola Vucevic is still out due to health and safety protocols, right? So that's the big guy that's out for their team. He's been out for a little while. All right, everybody else, you're not worried too much about. Javonte Green, he's probable for the Chicago Bulls. Tyler Cook, Devin Dotson, those are both G League guys. So they're playing in the G League. For the New York Knicks, Mitchell Robinson, after getting hit in the nose last night, he's out. He's not playing today. And Taj Gibson is questionable. So clearly, Nerlens Noel is going to be the starting center for the New York Knicks tonight. Any thoughts about what you think the Bulls might do or how they might play this game tonight with Vucevic being out? Josh, I'll start with you.
Small ball, small ball, small ball. They're going to try to get out in transition. And that's been their MO, I think, since the last time they played us. Lonzo Ball, getting those guys out and running, and Caruso and all those guys just, try to force some turnovers and off misses, just run back the other way. That's how the Bulls are going to try to play us. And that's quite frankly how I think the Knicks should play. But we haven't been playing that way. So I think our transition defense is going to be tested tonight. I know our defense has been getting better. Our transition defense wasn't that good in the beginning of the season, but we've been playing better. So I think it's a matchup of contrasting styles, so to speak. And let's see if our transition defense can be able to hold up, because once Lonzo Ball gets that ball, he's gone.
Yeah. Andy, any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I agree with Josh. This is going to be, a tough matchup, and for both teams, bearing that basically all big men are out, because Netherlands ain't that big if you think about it. So I think the rebounding battle is going to be quite interesting in this game. So, and that Chicago bench is they might be a little bit shorter on the bench as well, but those guys play with hustle and are really scrappy. So we can't lack energy versus the Bulls.
Yeah. I agree with you there. Let's take a look at some starting lineups or potential starting lineups for the Knicks. We haven't heard anything about Kemba Walker sitting out today, right? Because it's a back-to-back. He's not on the injury report. At least he wasn't on the 130 injury report. We'll see if he's, added to the injury report. I'll look and see if we have an update, because one should have came out at 2:30. But right now we have Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and Nerlens Noel starting for the New York Knicks. And for the Chicago Bulls, it looks like it's going to be Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, Alex Caruso at small forward, DeMar DeRozan at power forward, and Tony Bradley at center. All right. And so that becomes, that adds some lineup, some funny matchups, I think, that the Knicks got to deal with. When we look at defensive assignments, I think I'm probably going with Kemba Walker still on Lonzo Ball, right? Lonzo's not a crazy, heavy penetrator. So, I still go with Kemba Walker on Lonzo Ball, although he can shoot over top of him and pass over top of him. Evan Fournier on Alex Caruso. R.J. Barrett on Zach LaVine, Julius Randle, DeMar DeRozan, and Nerlens Noel on Tony Bradley. This right here looks like what if the Bulls are rolling with this lineup, I'm thinking these are probably the defensive assignments for this starting unit. Okay, Andy, any thoughts about? Let's start with Kemba Walker and Lonzo Ball. Any thoughts about?
Yeah, listen, Sinma, I really think that all of the matchups that you said are going to be the exact things that we're going to see. And about just Kemba on Lonzo, listen, Lonzo's way bigger. He plays fastball, but I think that's also a good thing for Kemba, because he's going to try to stop him early on the picking up even above half court. If I'm Tibbs, I'm trying to go with that game plan just to slow him down, and that's going to be a second or two by slowing Lonzo only, but that's going to be a meaningful couple of seconds to set up the offense and get the defense back. Like Josh said, this is going to be a team that's going to run at us, so the defensive awareness has to be on point tonight.
Yeah. Josh?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to to our guards getting back in transition. Kemba Walker is going to have to be able to slow Lonzo Ball down. Obviously, Lonzo Ball is the bigger guy, like Andy mentioned. But if Kemba can just stay in front of him and don't allow him to get past him, I think we can be able to at least contain the Bulls' offense, to contain Lonzo a little bit. He only had 6 points the last game. He's been shooting much better since that game. So we just got to be able to keep him in front of us and be able to close out when he wants to take those threes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everything both of you guys said is correct. I was watching a documentary last night on NBA TV about Muggsy Bogues, right? And, as small as Muggsy Bogues was, he was just a defensive demon. And I wish Kemba Walker could play that type of defense, even at 6 foot. Muggsy Bogues was 5'3", and he was able to get up underneath people and get steals. put pressure on the basketball. Guys were afraid to dribble. Kemba Walker obviously isn't that. I wish that he was, because then I would say get up underneath of Lonzo Ball and put pressure on him that way. Because, you're small enough where you can not prevent him from dribbling, but make it tough because, you're right up underneath him. Kemba Walker's not that kind of a defensive guard. So with Kemba Walker, it's going to be a little bit different with the way that you can, with the way that he defends Lonzo Ball. I think he's going to have to fight over screens, not let Lonzo Ball get free off of a screen and knock down the three, right? So fight over the screen, make Lonzo Ball penetrate to the basket. Lonzo Ball can penetrate to the basket, but, he gets in there and he's looking to dish. He's looking to pass. He's not really looking to float it and all that type of stuff. So make him go over the screen. Hustle your butt over the screen and try to get back so we don't have to switch for too long. That's how I'd like to see Kemba Walker defend Lonzo Ball. Obviously, you're going to have guys help out as well. All right. Evan Fournier, Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso, he's not a star player or anything like that, but he can be very effective. I think he can be effective when, when he's on his game, he plays good defense, he knows the game well. He can pass the basketball. Some nights he can get hot and knock down shots. I think Evan Fournier should win that matchup, but you just don't know the way things are going to go with the Knicks. And Evan Fournier could have a 6-point night, like he's had, so it's that could be an interesting matchup. Any thoughts on that, Andy?
Yeah, listen, we saw a couple of plays of Alex Caruso playing great defense, but listen, that's only a couple of plays. Highlights is easy to find on the internet, so I'm not afraid about that. And I really think that Evan Fournier, after just like seeing the ball go through the hoop the last game, might be a little bit fired up, and I'm not going to use confidence with Fournier because he's a vet, so he knows the drill. Mm-hmm. And I really think that he might take it a personal matchup with Caruso, trying to stop him, so he will try to especially go at him, and I think that might like wake up the aggressiveness of Fournier, which I think we need.
Yeah, that would be great. Alex Caruso in the last game, he had 10 points, 6 assists. Last game, he shot 40% from the field and 33% from three. Josh, any thoughts on that matchup?
Yeah, Tim, I remember you said something about Fournier, about his ability to do the little things. That's the kind of player Alex Caruso is, right? Mm-hmm. At first glance, you can look at Caruso and he doesn't really look like a baller or he doesn't look like, anybody to take serious or anything like that. But the guy, he makes meaningful plays. And he's been doing that throughout his little short career, whatever the case may be. And right now, Evan Fournier is just too inconsistent for me. I'm hoping that we get the good Fournier tonight. He's able to knock his shots down, shoot with some confidence. But I'm a little bit worried about that matchup, so I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think Caruso can get hot, and he can just make some plays and get the Bulls going.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's a reason that they're starting him there at the 3 spot for the Chicago Bulls right now. Although, when you're looking at these defensive assignments, we don't have any positions here when we're doing the defensive assignments. It's just who the Knicks would be guarding, and maybe I'll add some arrows on here or something like that, so that you guys will know that's what it is. R.J. Barrett and Zach LaVine. Now, this is this could be a tough assignment for R.J. Barrett, right? Zach LaVine can shoot the basketball. He can cut backdoor. He can go to the cup. He can basically score at all 3 levels. He's athletic. Tough assignment. He's skilled. He's a skilled offensive player. I think this is a tough assignment for R.J. Barrett. And R.J. Barrett isn't playing well offensively. So if you're R.J. Barrett, Andy, how do you approach this matchup?
Listen, I try to, stop the first step of Zach LaVine, and try, to force him to give up the ball. But, that's not going to be an easy task, as you said. And listen, the only thing that RJ has over Zach is probably strength, right? And maybe trying to use his strength, push him out of the blocks, the positioning that he's gonna get. I would love RG to be actually matched up with DeMar DeRozan, because he has a post game. But then again, you can't go with Randall on Levine, because that's going to be even worse. So I really think that we might see plenty of switching, and I might consider all of the switches except for Kemba on a guy like DeRozan, because DeRozan has a post game and he's going to utilize every matchup versus Kemba in the post. That's going to be easy money for him. So we can't allow that to happen. But even Netherlands, I would switch him up on all of these guys basically, and try to see how that will work out. Because RJ, if you're asking me about this matchup, I think Levine has him like in his pocket. And even on the defensive end for Levine, right? RJ, he might be strong, but he's not quite fast on the first step even,
Right.
compared to Levine. So it might be a nightmare game for RJ actually tonight.
Josh.
Well, based on the last game, I look at a player like Zach LaVine, 25 points on 7 for 17 shooting. So not the best shooting, but he was shot pretty decent that night. And he scored 25 points. So LaVine is a problem. There's no question about that. And RJ Barrett is still trying to find his way, even defensively. Defensively, RJ Barrett is still trying to find his way. So it's going to be a struggle for RJ Barrett to defend someone like Zach LaVine. I do agree with Andy about the switching. I think switching probably works in our favor, with the exception of the Kemba thing. I think switching will probably work because of the type of lineup that they have out there. Not too many mismatches. Only one will probably be Kemba Walker. So I think, the best way for the Knicks to defend Zach LaVine is to do that. And RJ Barrett, hopefully he can be able to step up and make some plays today defensively, but it's going to be a tough task going against Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine is a bucket. No question about that.
Yeah, smooth guy. I mean, Zach LaVine scores the ball, and sometimes you don't even know that he has 20 points. You know what I mean? Just all of a sudden you look up and he's got 20 points. He's that kind of a scorer. I mean, there are nights when he gets into his thing where he's, taking a lot of shots and things like that. But, for the most part, pretty smooth player. I think this could definitely be a tough matchup for RJ Barrett. What should RJ Barrett do offensively? How should we attack that offensively against Zach LaVine?
You asking me, Tim? I go first?
Yeah. Go ahead. You can go first.
Go up strong, RJ. Go up strong. Enough of this, going up soft. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there is some opportunities for you to get some baskets, but, to me, like, his finishing game still needs a lot of work. He still has to be able to finish strong at the basket. I think he is a strong kid. Naturally, he has the ability to finish with his right hand, but sometimes he just goes up so soft, and I don't want to say try to avoid the contact, but he just doesn't go up strong enough, in my opinion. So I just want to see RJ Barrett be strong when he's at the rim, take the shots that's there, and be a little bit more aggressive. That's the RJ that I want to see. Okay. He's very inconsistent with that.
All right, Andy, if you're RJ, how are you attacking this matchup?
Yeah, listen, I agree with Josh. He has to go strong at the hoop, and not like the last step is a little bit sideways, so he's avoiding contact, like Josh said. He has to go strong and try to get that contact. LaVine, he has a couple of pounds on LaVine. I know that he's a high leaper, but even then he can catch you on the backboard with the block. You just gotta take one for the team, and just think that maybe he's going to get in foul trouble, right? Because, of that contact and stuff like that. You never know how nowadays these refs are calling these games, because, last night I was stressed out about some of these fouls coming and not being called or stuff like that. So I really think that they got to feel out the refs and then, even adjust the offense that way. So maybe, tricking these Bulls into foul trouble might be, a solution for us.
Yeah, one of the things that I think the Knicks should try to do is really get RJ moving off of screens, cutting to the basket, basket, off-ball screens. A couple of off-ball screens, have him slice to the basket. We seen last night, I think it was last night, I think there was a pick and roll between Kemba Walker and Julius Randle. Julius Randle got the ball kind of near the baseline, and then R.J. Barrett sliced to the basket. And he found R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett missed the dunk. It was a contested dunk, but he missed the dunk. But it was a great play. I think this is the way that you can attack Zach LaVine with R.J. Barrett. Have him moving off the ball. Slicing to the basket. Coming off screens. Instead of being stationary, waiting for the ball to be kicked out to him. This way it keeps Zach LaVine on the move. Hopefully he tires his legs down a little bit. And R.J. Barrett doesn't have to go one-on-one against Zach LaVine. Not that Zach LaVine is a great defender, but you're also asking R.J. to guard Zach LaVine. You know what I mean? So the less he has to go one-on-one, he can get some slices to the basket, get a couple of catch and shoots. You work Zach LaVine on the defensive end, and, hopefully you keep RJ's legs a little bit more fresh to defend him on the other side of the basketball. That's how I would attack Zach LaVine. Andy, what about this Julius Randle and DeMar DeRozan?
Another hard one. Listen, it's last night. Julius didn't have a great scoring game, but he almost put up a triple-double. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna be happy with him playing that kind of basketball. We got the W. That's the most important thing. But he also shared the ball. Of course, it's not gonna happen overnight that we're gonna fix all our problems on offense. But him just moving the ball and trying to get, I think, deeper in the post versus a smaller guy like DeRozan. He finally has a really great chance to do it versus a smaller guy like DeRozan. So I think this should be emphasized by Tibbs in the game plan. Get Julius under the hoop, give him the ball, and make him go to work. So I think that's going to be a great game plan for Julius alone even.
Yeah. And just a quick update: the Jets are losing to the Miami Dolphins 14-7, 6 minutes and 41 seconds left in the fourth quarter. In the third quarter, I'm sorry, not the fourth quarter. Just a quick update there for those who are monitoring the Jets game. DeMar DeRozan could be a tough matchup for Julius Randle. He's how tall is DeMar DeRozan? 6'8"?
6'8", yeah.
6'8". I mean, Julius Randle's 6'9". Julius Randle should be bigger than him a little bit. But DeMar DeRozan over the years has put on a lot of muscle. You know what I mean? So he's much stronger than he was, back when he was playing for the Raptors. You know what I mean? Josh?
So I agree with Andy as far as Julius Randle getting closer to the basket and being able to post up DeMar DeRozan. Randle has become a perimeter player, I think by necessity. And at times it doesn't look like Randle's going to be able to take advantage of some of those smaller matchups in the paint. I think with Nerlens Noel being out there, it's a little bit better than having Mitch out there because Nerlens can at least, he's not going to be, clogging up the paint as much as, say, a Mitchell Robinson was. So I do believe there's going to be some type of space there. But it's going to be a tough matchup for Julius Randle to at least get down into the paint, from the perimeter and being able to take DeMar DeRozan off the dribble. I don't think that's going to happen. So hopefully Julius can be able to park himself in the paint and get some buckets that way. And hopefully he can be able to knock down the shots. I do think he does have the size advantage over DeRozan. But, Randle's got to be able to knock those shots down. They're going to be there. He's got to be able to knock them down.
Yeah. Like last night, the Knicks, tried to find ways to get Julius Randle in the paint. I want them to do the same thing again tonight. Find ways to make sure Julius Randle is getting the ball in the paint, scoring. Last night, he didn't really score from the paint. All right. I think he made one bucket in the painted area, and that was a dunk.
Out of 6.
Yeah, out of six. That was a dunk. Still, we need to keep him going to the paint. That forces the defense to collapse, and it's going to open up more shots on the outside. All right, taking a look at the team comparison, the New York Knicks are averaging 107.6 points per game. The Chicago Bulls Hold up. Let me get it a little bit more clear so that I can see it for myself. Because right now I got it up. You guys can see it, but there we go. Now I can see it. The Bulls are averaging 108.8. The Knicks are averaging 45.4 rebounds per game. The Bulls 43.6. Both teams around 22 assists per game. The Bulls average 8.6 steals. The Knicks at 7.3. The Knicks average 6.3 blocks per game, but that's probably going to be down or might be down because you only have Nerlens Noel out there. Or it might be about the same because, all season we've either had Mitch or Nerlens. I don't think we've barely played with both of them out there. The Bulls are averaging 4.8 blocks, 13 turnovers for the Knicks, 13 turnovers for the Bulls on the season. The Knicks shoot 44% from the field. The Bulls are about 47% from the field. Both teams shoot about 37% from the three-point line. The Knicks not shooting well from the free throw line this year, 75.5%. The Bulls are 85.8%. The Bulls score 46 points in the paint. The Knicks about 43. The Bulls, 13 second chance points, but the Knicks are giving up a lot of second chance points this season. They're one of the worst in the league at allowing second chance points to opposing teams. All right. Actually, the Bulls are averaging 11.9 second chance points. The Knicks are averaging 13.2. But the Knicks are not doing a good job keeping teams off of the offensive glass and allowing teams to score second chance points. And that's one of the Achilles heel of the Knicks defense. The Knicks have had a really good defense over the last 6 games. Except for that. That's been one of their Achilles heels. You know what I mean? They're giving up second chance points and teams are scoring. Fast break points. The Knicks average 12.4. The Chicago Bulls average 14.9. But the Knicks are holding teams over the last 6 games to 8.3 fast break points per game, which is good. I think that's like 3rd or 4th in the league or something like that over the last 6 games. But this is a weird matchup. And the reason why I say this is because the Bulls are last in the league at shooting threes, but they're one of the top 3 or 4 teams in percentage, in three-point percentage. All right, both teams are shooting like 37%. And both of those percentages are, like top 5 in the league or something like that. But the Bulls don't shoot a lot of them. The Bulls average 18 mid-range shot attempts per game, which is like number 1 in the league. But they only shoot 40% from those mid-range shots. So I'm trying to figure out offensively, where is their advantage? That's what I'm trying to figure out. They don't average a boatload of assists. They shoot okay from the field. All right. Most of their shot attempts come, within 5 feet of the basket, right? 28 shot attempts per game. But that percentage, the field goal percentage, isn't like it's crazy. It's average. There's something about the makeup of this team that's allowing them to win games. Either, there's 4th quarter execution maybe. It's hard for me to see where they're having the advantage over other teams and what it is. And I'm not saying this to discredit them. I'm just trying to figure out, as we're strategizing and analyzing this team, what is it that they're doing that's allowing them to win games? Where is the advantage that they have? Because all of the numbers don't say, that they have this advantage or that advantage. Like with the Knicks, they're 9-7, and you can really point to the effort on the offensive glass and the offense, right? Because their offense is sputtering, especially over the last 6 games. And you can point to those 2 things. And on some nights, turnovers. It's hard for me to point to what the Bulls are doing well that has them at 11-5 right now. Andy, can you help me out in that regard?
Yeah, listen, I think at least the assist numbers and the field goal percentage from the 2-point area, I think it's because they have both Levine and DeRozan that like to play in the midfield, let's call it that way. And they also create most of the time for themselves, at least those two guys, right? Vucevic and Lonzo, they can create for the rest of the team, but as soon as DeMar gets the ball and Levine, they rarely pass it out, and if they do, they got to be really in trouble. So I think that might be at least the low assist numbers. And both of those guys, they maybe not love the 3-point shot, but they rather take that one step closer to the hoop shot than a three. And I realized that they evolved, and I saw DeRozan taking great 3-pointers and making them. But I still think that he's more comfortable with what he was playing for several years now in the NBA. That's why those 2-point shots and the low assist numbers.
Yeah. The Chicago Bulls, less than 5 feet from the basket, they take 29.6 attempts less than 5 feet from the basket. All right, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th in the NBA. But they shoot it at 60.5% within 5 feet from the basket. And that's not even in the top 10. It's below the top 10. It's about the middle of the NBA. All right, between 5 to 9 feet from the basket, they're again in the middle of the NBA, and they're shooting it at 41.7%. In the 10 to 14 range, the Chicago Bulls, about 12th in the NBA, and they're shooting it at 49.6%. So that's pretty high. All right, when you get to 15 to 19 feet, they're number one. 10.3 shot attempts per game between 15 to 19 feet from the basket, but they're only shooting it at 36.4%. All right, 20 to 24 feet from the basket. All right, the Bulls, again, down towards the bottom of the league here. And they're shooting from that range 44.4%. Okay, and then, when you start to get towards the 3-point attempts, they're averaging about 17.6 from 25 to 29 feet, 17.6 attempts. And that's almost last in the league. That's 29th in the league, and they're shooting it at 33%. There's nothing there offensively that jumps out to you and says, okay, here's one of the reasons why they're really beating teams. There has to be chemistry, right? I think the chemistry probably plays a part. They've had good early season chemistry, and then the ability to close things out in the fourth quarter, I'm assuming. Let's get to a phone call real quick. Julito, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
Hey, son, what's popping, y'all? Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the panel. Yeah, man, I just want to talk about a few things from last night and also for today. To be honest, Sim, I just think Julius Randle is the common denominator in today's game, If he plays good, if he moves the ball, if he takes high percentage shots, we win. But if he's like the video I just retweeted, that's been floating around where he is uninterested on defense, and then he runs to try to contest the guy who has an open shot because of his laziness, we lose, right? And that's almost every play with Julius, If he continues to freeze his R.J. Barrett out the game, we lose. He's our common denominator. I know we often say, like, we live and die by the three with this team, but I think we live and die with Julius Randle. And, I said it countless times, man, it's the attitude thing with Julius. Attitude, man. And unfortunately, I agree with your point on the show you did this morning where you said it seems like he listens to the media. It seems like he listens to Twitter. I was at the game last night. He's on the bench soaking. He messes up on defense, and then he blames his teammates. Mm-hmm. And NBA players don't like that, and that could demoralize your team's chemistry, right? If you clearly have a lapse, but then you're looking at everybody else because you're quote unquote the star of the team, when everybody on the team knows and everybody on the bench knows it was your fault, right? and that can really put a tag in the chemistry of a team, and I sat behind the bench last night, so I was able to see the huddles and really and watch exactly what was happening. And one thing that was glaringly noticeable, honestly, was Kemba's attitude, man, and I loved it. I think Julius really could take a few pages off of Kemba's book, right? And I don't know if that's just like an interpersonality thing, but yo, Kemba was so joyful on the bench, man. He was so happy, and if anybody's watching the game, y'all will notice this is a consistent occurrence with Kemba, right? He's just like, listen, I know I can't give what I used to give to the Hornets. I know I can't be that for this team, but if I can be anything, it's to be joy, it's to be positive, it's to have a good time. Because when you're the leader of a team, your energy, it's infectious. It's infectious, right? And Julius, I just think he needs to work on that, man. But tonight, I think we live and die by Julius. I think, DeMar DeRozan is going to get his. Zach LaVine, they will get theirs. They're star players. They're playing outstanding for Chicago. If we slow down the others, as like Shaq would say, the others, if we're able to slow them down, and that's going to be team defense, right? Because Kemba cannot stop. He can't stop Lonzo Ball, and Fournier can't stop Caruso, to be honest. He can't stop anybody, right? So if we play team defense, if we play together, right, I'm expecting Derrick Rose to have a good game. Hopefully we get Taj back because now we got Mitch out, right? At this point, we just passing around centers like it's hot potato, right? Like one is out, the other's in. The other's out, right? Like hopefully those two have a good game because they're back in their, place they were for almost 10 years, right? Like hopefully they can give us that jolt off the bench. And honestly, I'm ready for the first unit to step up. We got to find some consistency in that first unit. And that's all I wanted to say. I expect to win tonight. It's, of course, going to be a gritty one. It's, of course, probably going to come down to the last shot. But I expect to win tonight. And that's because I believe Julius will shift it around. And if he doesn't, I'm going to continue my stance on I think Julius sucks until he proves differently.
I mean, I think Julius is trying to figure out how to play with Kemba and Evan Fournier. Now, one thing I will agree now, because I was looking at it last night, his facial expressions and things like that sometimes bother me. I see him on the court, right. If him and a teammate don't connect on a pass or something like that, I don't see a lot of times him going and say, okay, we got it next time. You know what I mean? Some of those things do bother me.
You know what? Not to cut you off, Sim, but you know what one thing I noticed he does as well? Yeah, he gets his assists, but he passes almost every single time he's in the game and he has that ball. He passes at the very end of the shot clock. So guys are either going to make it or miss it, like Josh was saying earlier. Yeah, they're missing, but because they're getting the ball with 2 seconds left on the shot clock. So they're heaving it up. Right, he does it almost every single play. I know you talked about that. We talked about it on Twitter. He literally throws the ball at your knees while he's running towards you, which is automatically giving your guy a double team. That doesn't work, man. It's silly.
I mean, it is kind of awkward. He passes it out, but he's coming towards you, I believe, to set a screen. Right, I think him and Reggie Bullock figured out the timing. But doesn't do it.
He doesn't even put it. He doesn't set the screen.
I think him and Reggie Bullock last year figured out the timing of it. Hopefully him and Evan Fournier can figure out the timing of it, because he comes running at you fast. But I think a lot of it is them trying to figure out how to play with one another. It's awkward. You see him and Fournier sometimes bump into each other on the floor. Him and Kemba Walker bumping into each other on the floor. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for all of them to figure out how do we get the timing right. What are the tendencies of each other? You know what I mean? And it's, I think the hard part for us Knicks fans is the first couple of games, it looked like they had it. And then when teams started to really strategize against them, now you all of a sudden see, okay, maybe they needed a lot more work. You know what I mean?
I agree that it's Julius trying to figure out a new team and new teammates new teammates, not a new team. But at the same time, you can figure out a new team and a new teammate while having the attitude it takes to be a leader, because you're not figuring out how to be a leader. I thought we got past that a season ago, right? I thought we all thought he figured that part out. Mm-hmm. I think the what's not working for him are the mental things that it will require to create chemistry on the team, right? Because it's not about talent per se when it comes to chemistry, right? Because if you look, the Kings have been playing together for how long? They have talent, but they can't figure it out, right? So it's not about talent when it comes to teams like that, right? Look at the Chicago Bulls. They're almost a brand new team for the most part.
That's true.
Zach LaVine is in his first, like, real year as a leader of a good team, and they figured it out. It's not about in the first few games, right?
I mean, they figured it out now, but we'll see. You know, we're going to get to a certain part of the season. I'm pretty sure every team is going to go through, you know, they're going to go through a stretch like the Knicks are going through now, I think. The Bulls, too.
Oh, of course.
You know,
it's a season of runs. But I don't like what I'm seeing when it comes to Julius Randle because, honestly, if you were looking at that bench, I know you got probably other people, and I know you want to continue to try. I just want to say this, though. If you were looking at that bench yesterday, it's like them and us, honestly, right? It's the young guys, it's the Obies, it's the IQs, it's even the Burks in that, right? And then it's Julius, to be honest. Like, that's the energy I'm getting from the bench, which we never had at all last year. We didn't have them and us kind of situation, even when we got Derrick Rose. And it wasn't like it never shifted the dynamic. I see the dynamics being shifted right now. And I just think we need Theo Pinson back.
Right. I mean, no, but seriously though, he was someone who kept things light. His energy was infectious. You know, you miss somebody like that.
100%.
You miss somebody.
He was dancing on the sideline. These new guys ain't dancing because they ready to go in. Theo knew I'm not going in, right? I'm not going in ever. So I'm going to dance my life away. I'm going to average 47 claps a game.
Right.
Right? Because he knows he's not going in the game. Knox could be that guy for us, but Knox just doesn't have a personality.
Yeah, Knox ain't that dude.
He has no personality. I don't even notice him when he's on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't heard anything.
We need a Theo back, man.
And we haven't heard anything about Kevin Knox. He ain't even close to getting in the game right now. You know,
man, if Kevin Knox just had a ounce of a personality, Kevin Knox would be a superstar. He just doesn't have a person. He doesn't have the dog in him. He just doesn't. He's forgettable on the bench.
Yeah, it's a tough situation for Kevin Knox right now. He's not even close to getting off the bench or doing anything. I don't know. Hopefully the Knicks can pull this one out tonight. You know what I mean? We need to get a good win. We need to get a good one. A good one versus a good team.
I think where we work, if our second unit works, Chicago's second unit, because they do not really have anybody on that bench, especially because they put Caruso on the starting lineup. If we are able to, we can go on serious runs tonight with that second unit against their second unit. We can, like, for real. I think we got to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying they want Burks in the starting lineup. You got to remember, Burks is playing as good as he is because he's playing against other teams' second unit, which not as good defensively as the first unit on any team for the most part.
Yeah.
So if Burks was to get in the starting lineup, it probably would be the same of what we're experiencing now because he's a ball-dominant player, right? So keep Burks on the bench. Fournier just got to hit them open shots today, man. And Kemba, I don't know, Tim. I don't know Kemba, man.
I'm to the point with Kemba. I'm not expecting. If he gives us something good, then it's a bonus. I'm to that point with Kemba.
Yeah,
I'm not even.
I'm with you, bro.
I have no expectations about what he's going to give us night in and night out, which is the reason why I think going back to having Julius Randle be the primary ball handler is a good idea. We're used to that style of play until we can figure out how to get everybody else into the offensive system. We got to do something because we, over the past 5 games, we tried letting Kemba be the primary guy, and we averaged 98 points a game. That's not going to get us no wins.
I just wish we didn't need a Julius to be the primary ball handler because if he throws that ball at somebody's chest one more time, I'm gonna pull my hair out, son. Just pass the ball regularly.
I don't know why he beams the ball, man.
Don't beam it.
I don't know why he beams that. He be throwing that joint 200 miles an hour like, yo, you're like 3 feet away from the dude. What are you doing?
Yeah. I was with a young lady at the game last night, and she said, "Did that guy used to play football or something?" I'm like,
yo.
I said, I don't know. This guy is fighting out there. Like, dude, relax, bro.
Yeah. I don't know. Hey, Julito, man, I appreciate you, man. Looking forward to the 30th at the
Let's
Knicks
do it.
vs. Nets
30th,
live
man.
podcast, man.
It's gonna be amazing. Can't wait to see y'all then. I'll probably be on the show before that, but if not, I'll definitely see y'all the 30th.
All right, no doubt.
Let's get it.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
Sam.
yeah. Go ahead, Josh.
I mean, I just disagree with Julito. I mean, I just really do. I'm not saying Julius Randle has been playing his best style of basketball. That's not what I'm saying at all. Julius Randle is definitely not playing his best basketball. But to say that he's freezing people out of the offense, he said he freezed R.J. Barrett out the offense, I just don't agree with that. I think if Julius Randle's guilty of anything, he's guilty for passing the ball way too much. Julius Randle's done everything he can to try to get other people involved in the offense. I don't agree that it's happening late in the shot clock. I believe that, the Knicks are trying to run plays, but, guys are either passing up wide open jump shots or are just not moving the ball, right? So I think that, what Julius Randle is doing is by necessity because other guys are not knocking down their shots. Is Julius Randle playing the best style of basketball? No. Is he the best defensively? No. Is he giving us all defensively? No. But at the same time, from an offensive standpoint, I like everything Julius Randle's doing. Guys just have to be able to knock down shots, period, point blank. So I just don't agree with that take from Julito.
I don't like everything that he's doing. I'm not sure if he's freezing anybody out. I mean, I've seen several times in the first quarter, where he found RJ for some shots. RJ got to knock down his shots.
Yes.
But I do agree about his body language. I definitely agree about the body language. You know what I mean? I can see it in his face. When somebody misses a shot after he's made a pass or there's some kind of a turnover, I can see his eye, he's rolling his eyes and things like that. And, maybe that's the frustration mounting up. But you do have to learn. Listen, everyone's going to have that. Everyone's going to have the rolling in the eyes and sometimes. But you also got to find ways to say, okay, don't worry about it. We're going to get this. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? You got to do those type of things when you are the supposed leader of a team, and maybe he's still learning that. I don't know. But I still believe the offense right now, the offense has to run through Julius Randle. I said it earlier on the shoot around. Some people disagree with me in the chat. That's cool. I'm with it. But I still believe the offense needs to run through Julius Randle right now, at least, until Kemba and Evan Fournier are really there. You know what I mean? And then once they get there, then we can start to do something different, I think. But at this point, I think, we got to run through Julius Randle until everybody really starts to get into the flow of the offense and then start to change it up, flip it up, do something different. Because that's what we used to. Andy, you about to say something?
Yeah, listen, me too. Maybe not totally with Julito, but I noticed that Randall really, sometimes he passes up the ball like really late in the shot clock. And I noticed it happened, last game in the fourth quarter, and Fournier got mad at him. He just had to take that three that he airballed, and he got mad at him, and he I saw even bad body language from Fournier. He didn't look at, a Randall, just put his head down, like probably mumbled something in French and, let that slide. But I really think that, I really think that Fournier is getting frustrated with Randall. And it's, I realized that it might be, totally different things that are, happening between those two guys. Since we, already, poked this topic, for me, I think Randall last season was cool because he was like the main guy and nobody even questioned it. Now he has a vet in Fournier and in Kemba that saw other teams are also vets. And I'm not saying that they're questioning Randall, but, the young players might try to revert to those guys instead of to Randall. Last season, it was like everybody had a problem, any question. They could basically look at Randall and see what he has to say about it. This year, guys might look at Kemba, might look at Fournier just to get, maybe another answer, maybe something like that. And I really think that maybe he's not frustrated, but I think Fournier is like maybe not on his nerves, but he's that frustration is building up in Fournier. I believe so.
Okay. All right. We will see how, it's going to be an interesting, very interesting journey. I could tell you that. It's going to be an interesting journey. And I see people saying in the chat, Randall's not 09 LeBron. He don't have to be. But when you look at our team, it's not about any other team or comparing him to any other player. It's about how this team functions. And right now, Kemba, in my opinion, cannot run the offense of this team. It's not working. And until he can, I think it's probably the best way to go. And then, but of course, that puts more pressure on Julius Randle because he can't, he can't take 25 shots if he's doing that. Right? So he's going to have to learn how to toe the line. When do I take my shots? When am I getting others involved? There's a lot to figure out here, and it's not going smoothly at all. My man Ron, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Just trying to break this thing down and figure out what the Knicks are going to do.
How'd you know it was me?
I can't tell. Little birdie told me.
I'm like, how'd you know it was me? I'm calling on a different phone.
You getting burners now?
Yeah, man. I listen. I agree with you, Sam. You saying the same thing I've been saying. I think this team, the way it's made right now, the way it's constructed, it needs to go through Randall. Like, we did very well going through Randall last year. It's not perfect, but that's the way we need to do things, man. Get everybody back to playing the way RJ was playing good when the ball was flowing through Randall. To me, the only person right now, well, the only people, but it's really one person. The only person that it affects negatively to me is Fournier. But you know what? If I get the rest of the starters going the way they need to go, Fournier's just going to have to figure it out. Or Fournier goes to the bench, and we'll get somebody from the bench who can come up and deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, I want Fournier. I've been one of the few people outside of Andy that has had – I've been in Fournier's corner the whole season, and I expect him to do great for this Knicks team. I know he's not comfortable. I know he's not happy, but you know what? Let's work it out. Let's figure it out. Maybe Fournier says, you know what? I'll go to the bench. Maybe there's somebody from the bench who can step up and play in the shooting guard spot or move. That gives Tibbs a chance to move RJ to the shooting guard spot, maybe put Burks at the 3. But I really want Fournier to play with that second unit. I think he'll be extremely happy. The ball movement, all that stuff will open up his game, and we'll start to get some return on our investment. And this team will start winning games and play better.
So you don't think by switching Fournier and Burks now you have two units that need to make some adjustments, or you think he goes into that second lineup and it picks right up?
I think he goes into the second lineup and it doesn't miss a beat. I'm more worried about Kemba going into the second lineup. But Fournier, I think he'll be able to ball in that second unit.
Okay. All right. We'll see. Hey, he had 19 points last night. Maybe this is the start of something.
Yeah, but he also took that crazy shot that I was like, I don't even know where that came from. I mean,
in the fourth quarter? In the fourth quarter?
That well, that was wild.
You talk about that shot in the fourth quarter? That 3?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I was like, what is he doing? Why did he pull that? I don't know.
I'm like, and I kind of missed it. I was watching the game, but I was kind of like looking at it, but not looking at it because I was like, I can't believe what I'm witnessing. There was a point where I think people said that Fournier was getting mad. He was tight, and Kemba was kind of calming him down. And then that's when they put him back into the game in the fourth.
I didn't see that. I didn't pay attention to it. I'd have to go back and look at it and see. But it could be.
Yeah,
it could be.
I got to check that out. I think that, but that made sense to me because isn't this the first game that he's played in the fourth quarter in like 5 or 6 games
in a while?
So maybe he was just thinking he was going to sit again.
Right. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, listen, he knows. I mean, the reason why he's sitting really to me is not only because of his offense, it's because of his defense as well. That's why he's sitting in the fourth quarter. And in order for him to play in the fourth, he's got to be blazing hot. I think.
Right.
He's got to be on his game. You know what I mean? But I mean, maybe the frustration was over Randall. I don't know. Randall did something really crazy last night. Not really crazy, but the Knicks, it was about 2 minutes to go in the game. Or maybe it was less than that, a minute and something to go in the game. And they're up like 6 points. The Knicks inbound the ball, and Randall lets the ball roll instead of picking it up. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you letting the ball roll? That keeps time on the clock. Pick it up so the clock can start.
Yeah.
Right?
I remember that. Yeah.
And to me, and it's not about Randall, it's just indicative of this team right now who's supposed to be a high IQ basketball team. Maybe not the highest in the league, but supposed to be high IQ or have a good IQ of the game, are making bad mental mistakes. Derrick Rose throwing cross-court passes. We seen it last night again. Cross-court passes and getting picked off. We're making bad mental mistakes all the way around with this team, from the starting unit to the bench. The bench is playing better, but they're also making some bad mental mistakes. That shot by Evan Fournier, a bad mental mistake. I'll say again, and I'll continue to reiterate it, and I know people probably get sick of me saying it, but when you're thinking instead of reacting, you make bad mental mistakes. A lot of the things that the Knicks are doing so far right now are indicative of a team trying to find their way as far as fit is concerned. Now, whether or not it's because, they're not familiar with one another and they're trying to get familiar with one another, or they're just bad fitting, especially in that starting unit, and it's never going to happen, we'll see which one it is. But the mistakes that they're making on the floor and things that are happening, bumping into each other, even the bad shooting to me is indicative of a team, because when you're thinking about stuff, you get into this habit of not reacting. When the shot comes, or when the shot does come, your mind is just not clearly bam on that, because things just aren't flowing fluently. I'll continue, till we get about halfway through the season. That's going to be where I'm at with it. You know what I mean? And people say, well, damn, that's a long time. To me, it's not. Because when you look at the team last year, the starting unit had been together for a season, at least a season. Elfrid Payton and Julius Randle was together for, I think their third season together.
Right.
But that team had chemistry because they've been together for a while. The second unit last year, it wasn't great. Even when Rose came, it wasn't great. But this year, they're much better. Why? Because they had been together for a while. You know what I mean? We're talking about 16, 15 games. What are the Knicks? 9 and 7, 16 games. Now 17. So, when we get to halfway through the season, that's when I'm expecting, if this lineup is going to play well together, to me, that's when they will play well together.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. You know what? And Andy, Josh, and Sim, there's only so long a team can really play in the NBA and be successful without a true floor general. I think we kind of exhausted that time frame. I think we're here now. I think things are starting to unravel, and there's nothing we can do about it until they actually have a chance to maybe make a trade and bring somebody in. I don't know how the head office looks at the team and sees what their need is, but I'm telling you, we need a floor general. If we had somebody out there that people would respect and can control what's going on, I think we'd be a much better team. I think you keep guys like Julius in line when he gets a little too one-offish, and that way he's not always calling for the ball to make his moves. Although I did like the fact that he had the ball in his hands. I thought he was making pretty good reads last night for the most part, except for the bullet passes he was throwing. I don't know what that was, but yeah, I think he was doing okay.
He always does
but
that.
You can tell, man, guys like Fournier and RJ, They need somebody who can help, get them to the basket, get good shots for them. I don't know what else they're going to do with what they got now.
Right. Yeah. We'll see, man. We'll see. Ron, I appreciate your time, man. Appreciate your call. And, in just about a week, I know you're going to be at that, you're going to be at the live podcast and watch Party Knicks vs. Nets. So appreciate, I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, sir. I'll definitely be there. I can't wait to see y'all. Andy, you know what? After you finish this, man, you need to get some rest. You was burning the midnight oil yesterday, man. Good to see y'all here. All right.
All right, man.
Later, y'all.
Later.
Peace.
My key matchups for this game, ladies and gentlemen, key matchups. Julius Randle and DeMar DeRozan. I think that's a key matchup right there. Julius Randle's averaging 19.6 points per game, 10 rebounds a game, 5.3 assists. He's shooting 40.4% from the field. He's shooting 35% from three and 75% from the free throw line. All of these numbers are down from last year. They're down. And mainly it's because he's not shooting well. DeMar DeRozan, he's averaging 26.6 points per game, 5.4 rebounds, 4.2 assists per game. He's shooting 48.8% from the field, and he's shooting 33.3% from the three-point line to go with 88.5% from the free throw line. DeMar DeRozan is playing well so far this season. He's the mid-range king. He's not going to shoot a lot of threes. I think he attempts 2.6 threes a game. He's the mid-range king. That's the reason why the Chicago Bulls are a mid-range team. But this is a key matchup. They're playing DeMar DeRozan at power forward. At least that's what it looks like right now, which means Julius Randle is going to be guarding DeMar DeRozan. Now, DeMar DeRozan likes to post up. He's not the kind of guy that's just going to blow past you and, cut you up. So I'm not worried about that. I think Julius Randle can guard DeMar DeRozan. If he goes out on the perimeter a little bit, I'm not going to say three-point line extended, but mid-range, maybe Julius Randle has a little bit of trouble. DeMar DeRozan should be a little bit faster than Julius Randle. But I think Julius Randle can be okay. I'm expecting them two guys to cancel each other out. Maybe DeMar wins the matchup, but at least, at the worst, cancel each other out. I don't expect Julius Randle to, only score 9 points or something tonight. I think Julius Randle is going to, score, 18 to 20 points, 18 to 22 points. Get his normal rebounds and assists. Hopefully he shoots well from the field. DeMar DeRozan is going to do his thing. Any thoughts on who wins that matchup? Andy, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think, scoring-wise, it could go to DeRozan, but I think overall game, the rest of the stats with assists, rebounds, and blocks, whatever, I think it goes to Julius. So probably nothing new, but yeah, I think, he might have another game close to a triple-double. Meanwhile, DeRozan might have 6-8 points more than him, but I'll still take that game from Julius.
Yeah, and I think he'll have close to a triple-double again tonight, because I think they're going to continue to put the ball in his hands and let him run that point forward spot. Josh?
All I'm going to say is I need Julius Randle to take more than 15 shots tonight. I need him to shoot more than 15 times tonight. I need him to shoot more at the basket, try to get some attempts inside. I think he can win that matchup on the inside. And I agree with you, Sim. I think he could put up a triple-double tonight. So I'm going to go with our guy. I'm going with Randle. If Randle has a better game than DeRozan, I think we win.
Okay. Does it have to be that he puts up more than 15? What if he's 8 for 15 from the field? 8 for 15, 9 for 15.
That's good, Sam. That's good.
That's good.
What if it's 5 for 15?
Yeah, if it's 5 for 15, then I don't know if we want him putting up more shots because he's not hitting. But, if he's hitting and he only takes 15 shots, but he's got 11, 12 rebounds, 9, 10 assists, I still think that's good.
Well, Sam, I just want him to be aggressive. I don't want him to be too passive. I feel like he's been too passive. Still trying to get everybody else involved, which is a good thing. But I want to see him get in his bag as well. I want to see him go back to not necessarily dominating the ball, but not being afraid to shoot the ball in the fourth quarter.
Right.
I need Julius Randle to have the ball in his hands in the fourth quarter. Point blank.
Okay. All right. My next key matchup. R.J. Barrett and Zach LaVine. All right, RJ Barrett's averaging 15.3 points per game, 15.3 points per game, 5.5 rebounds per game, 2.3 assists. He's shooting 40% from the field. He's shooting 31% from three, shooting 74% from the free throw line. Zach LaVine, on the other hand, he's averaging 27 points per game, 26.8, so 27 points a game, 5.6 rebounds, 3.7 assists. He's shooting 50% from the field, 40% from three, and he's shooting 88.2% from the free throw line. All right, I'm not expecting RJ Barrett to outscore Zach LaVine, but he's got to make shots so that Zach LaVine has to defend him. We've got to utilize RJ Barrett tonight, in my opinion. Get him cutting to the basket. RJ, you got to knock down your open threes. A lot of talk about Julius Randle. And you know what he is or is not doing. Not enough talk about RJ Barrett. Because RJ Barrett's not playing well. You know what I mean? He's not shooting the ball well at all. And I think he's going to come out of it. He too, the entire starting five, their scoring averages are down. And I think he also is a victim of the team not gelling, right? And he's not really in rhythm. But he's got to take some responsibility too, because, he's shooting bad. Last night, I think he had, 11 points last night? 1 for 5 from the three-point line. And Julius Randle was one of the guys who set him up from the three-point line. And not always early in the shot clock. Not always late in the shot clock. A lot of times early in the shot clock. He's getting open shots. He's got to knock them down. He's got to hit the shots. Any chance at all, Andy, that RJ Barrett wins this matchup?
Yeah, well, if he gets Zach in foul trouble, that might be the only way. Other way, he can injure him. So that's the other thing that can happen. But if they're going to be both playing like similar amount of minutes, scoring wise, Zach is going to take this battle. But it's like just the previous one that we were talking about. I think the rest of the stats, the hustle stats, rebounds, steals, whatever. I think RJ has to, try to, fill out that part of the box score compared to LaVine. And I know that LaVine is also not a slouch on defense. He likes to cut those passing lanes. So steals might be, a hard thing to compare. But listen, you can also play good without, making shots and be a positive, addition on the roster. So I think, RJ has to do everything else if he's not hot.
Yeah. Josh, any chance RJ wins this matchup?
If he can knock his shots down, if he can knock his shots down that are there for him that are wide open, I think there's a chance. If he can be more aggressive when he gets to the rim and go up strong with the basketball, I think there's a chance. But I just think RJ Barrett is just, he needs to be staggered with the second unit a little bit more. I think he fits better with that second unit. I've been saying that for 2 years now, and I still feel the same. He has not done anything consistent to show me otherwise. So if RJ Barrett wants to, as far as the head-to-head matchup is concerned, if he wants to win this matchup, he has to knock down his shots. But I just think that in order for that to happen, he needs to play with the second unit more, get him out there with Quickly and Obi and those guys. So I think he's better with that lineup than he is with the starting unit.
So let me ask you guys, if you were going to switch somebody out of the starting unit, would it be Fournier, Andy, for Alec Burks? If you were going to insert Alec Burks, would it be Fournier?
Listen, the first move that I would be probably looking at would be that move, but I don't think it's exactly the move that we want to make because, with Kemba having the ball in his hand and even, the offense running through Julius, Burke's skill set is going to be, cut in half because, he needs the ball to be effective. So if he's not having the ball, he's just going to be a shooter around, running around those two guys, right? And, I don't think that they're going to put the ball in Burke's hands and let, Julius or Kemba be on the court with him as a supporting cast. So,
yeah, And I'm a proponent of keeping Burks on the bench and letting this first unit find their way. I'm a proponent of that. But one thing I do notice is that when Randall's on the floor with Burks, he lets Burks have the ball. I don't know if he trusts him or if there's, some kind of personality dynamic between the two. Burks is a dry type of dude. I listened to him in the post game show right after the game. You know what I mean? And like his answers are just bland, straight bland answers. Almost like he had them written down and he knew the questions before he even got to them. Just straight bland. Like no personality at all. But between Randall and Burks, when Burks is in the game, I'd really like to look at the numbers and break it down and see what their usage rate when they're on the floor together. It seems like Burks has the ball in his hands when they're in the game together. So I don't know how that would look. Of course, last year I didn't like the way it looked in the starting lineup when Burks was there. But every year is different. The team changes. Every year, you kind of start over every year, to be honest with you. But I don't know. Do you notice that at all, Josh?
No, I kind of see what you're saying. I understand. Randall kind of defers to Alec Burks a little bit to bring the ball up. I think based on last season, we kind of got comfortable with Burks handling it. Whenever we had the point guard issues or what have you. But as far as putting Alec Burks in the starting lineup, I don't think it solves the problem. The problem is, guys are not knocking down their open shots. Period, point blank. And I think if you put Alec Burks in there for Evan Fournier, Alec Burks can easily go on a period of games where he's just not making the shots. So for me, if I want to do a lineup change, like I said, I would go with the small ball lineup, which is something that Tibbs is not going to do. Or I will put Derrick Rose in there, give him a start at the point guard because he can be able to penetrate. I think his ability to penetrate can get other guys open and easier looks.
Yeah. Let's see. Last night against the Houston Rockets in the fourth quarter, Julius Randle played 6 minutes and 33 seconds. Alec Burks played all 12 minutes of the fourth quarter. Julius Randle had 3 shots. Alec Burks had 7 shots in the fourth quarter last night. Now, obviously, Julius Randle only played half the minutes that Alec Burks did in the fourth quarter. But it's let me see. Julius Randle got in at 6 minutes? Yeah, Randle subbed in for Obi at 6 minutes and 33 seconds. And during that time, just trying to look and see if I can calculate quickly how many times Burks shot. Burks 25-foot 3-point shot. Burks 28-foot 3-point shot. But of course, Julius Randle was looking for Alec Burks last night. Randle would have missed layup. Fournier would have missed 3-point shot. Randle free throws. It's hard to say. I'd have to take some time and break it down. But I think even when they were on the floor together in the fourth quarter, Alec Burks had the ball in his hands a lot of the time, or Julius Randle found Alec Burks. So that's an interesting dynamic to watch out for. Interesting one to watch out for. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, those are the key matchups for tonight. R.J. Barrett and Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Julius Randle. Looking at some keys to the game. And right now, Miami, ladies and gentlemen, they're up over the Jets 21-14 with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Wah, wah, wah. MESS, Mets.
Keys to the game. 1, be focused and avoid a letdown. And the reason why I say that is because it was a tight game last night against a team like the Houston Rockets who came in with 1 win. The Knicks had to scrape that game out. Then they fly to Chicago. Got to play a tough Bulls team. So they got to stay focused, avoid a letdown. Watch the backdoor cuts. Chicago is good at cutting backdoor. DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. Both of those guys like to cut back door. Now, you don't have someone like, I mean, you got Lonzo Ball, but sometimes Vucevic, he'll get the ball. He'll have it at the mid post and find Zach LaVine and those guys cutting back door. They're going to be missing that tonight. But Zoe can find them going back door. You got to defend the mid-range. Make sure we're on point defending that mid-range. They are the mid-range kings. They attempt 18 mid-range shots per game. They only make about 40% of those shots, but we don't want them getting hot from there. Right? Defend the mid-range. We got to continue to try to get Randall, RJ, and Fournier going in this game. Right now, it looks like Randall's going to be running point forward. I'm going to really be monitoring that, try to break it down and see what they are doing, what they're not doing, and then protect the lead. Fourth quarter execution. That's going to be key in this game, that fourth quarter execution, because the first game came down to the fourth quarter. The Knicks won 104-103. RJ played pretty good defense on DeMar DeRozan down the stretch or for that last shot. Although DeMar DeRozan got off a good shot, he missed it. The Knicks won the game, 104-103. I think it's going to be that type of a tight game tonight. I hate to say it. I don't want to jinx my team, but I think the Bulls come out on top in this one. I think it's going to be a tight game, but I think the Knicks might have some fourth quarter gaffes and the Bulls come out on top. But anyway, Andy, any keys to the game that you'd like to mention or point out?
Yes, basically this is every show I'm going to say this, gang rebounding this time. It's not only rebounding, but as far as, we are lacking center, they're lacking a center. So there's going to be probably plenty of minutes on the court without, tall guys. So I really think gang rebounding is going to be important, because if we let their guards, scrape some boards on the offense for them, so it's going to be really bad. And the second chance points are really depleting, the air out of the team, right? So I really think as soon as, we get that rebound and try to run versus them, if the offense isn't easy to set up, then just play your game. But, I think the rebound is also going to be a key here.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Rebounding, especially on the defensive side, keep them off the offensive glass. That's been a problem with the Knicks all season long. Josh?
Penetration. We got to find a way to get into that paint and get some points in the paint. We're really struggling in that area right now. I think this is a game where we can be able to exploit what the Bulls do not have in the paint and be able to get something inside, whether that be Randall, whether that be, getting Derrick Rose out there, him getting to the paint, getting some buckets in the paint. But we need to get into that paint. I think get into the paint opens up the rest of the offense. So that's what I'm looking forward to the Knicks trying to do tonight. Okay. At least attempting to do.
All right. What's your prediction for tonight?
Ooh. I'm going to go 112-104 Knicks.
112. Wow. 112 points tonight. Okay. All right. Andy, your prediction?
I think it's going to be Knicks by 6, but it's going to be lower than that. I don't think, any of these teams is getting higher than like 105. That's going to be like most.
Okay. I'm not going to predict the score. I just think the Bulls are going to take this one. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to come down to the wire. Just like the first one. I see some people in the chat saying it's going to be a blowout. The Bulls are going to blow the Knicks out. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Knicks are going to come out, play hard, play a good basketball game tonight. But I don't think they're going to be able to pull it out, which is the importance of winning some of those, beating teams like the Orlando Magic. You know what I mean? So that, when you play a tight game against a team like the Bulls, it doesn't hurt you as much. I think the Knicks leave out of here 9-8. I think they play a good basketball game, though, tonight. I don't think it's going to be a 20-point blowout. I see some people saying that in the chat. I don't think it's going to be a 20-point blowout. I don't know. Anything else you want to mention, say about this game, talk about this game? Any other thoughts about it?
Yeah. So based on, everyone out there watching, go check out the game day, game preview. Because they're on the game day website, it says that we are underdog by 1.5 points. So make sure you check that out. Only on the game day.
So that's what they're saying on the game day right there. Underdog, 1.5. Now, I mean, that's actually not bad going to being in Chicago, right?
On the road, yeah.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Andy, any other thoughts?
Listen, I really hope that we get this W as well. You know, it's hard to say that the Knicks got the number of the Bulls, but them not having Vucevic tonight is like, I would love to take that advantage. You know, we still got 2 games versus the Bulls, but you know, these games versus Eastern Conference opponents that are going to be in the playoffs basically are really important. So I just hope we get this dub.
Right. No doubt about it. Ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry, it's actually 5.5, Sam. 5.5.
Oh, you said it's 5.5. Okay.
It's 5.5, yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for joining us. It's been the Game Day pregame show. Make sure you go check out the Game Day for all your up-to-date sports content and betting odds. If you are a bettor, if you like to bet on fantasy sports, get all your information from the Game Day. They got it there. They got all the information that you need to make sure that you're making the right pick and, you know, lining those pockets. It's Christmas time, though. Don't bet too much. Take care of your money. You know, bet on your family first. Take care of what you got to do with the family first. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to get you to go out and, you know, lose your house and your wife. So take care of your family first. Make sure you join us on November the 30th at 6 p.m. at Legends. We have a live podcast and watch party, the Knicks versus the Nets. It's going to be fun. It's going to be dope. It's free entry. The only reason why we're doing the registration is so we can keep track of how many people is going to be there. All right, so you can register at nbkfam.com, ladies and gentlemen. The link is in the description of the video. Go register right now because we're getting off the stream. We're done. We're going to let you finish watching your games. All right. 4 o'clock games are about to start. So you can go check those out tonight, 8 p.m., the Knicks versus the Bulls. And then, of course, we'll be on the post-game show to talk about whatever happened in this game tonight. I want the Knicks to win. It's going to be a tough one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out of here. Appreciate you. Be peaceful. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And I'll catch you tonight on the post-game. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.